Okay, so Candice James. Yes. Who doesn't know Candice?
Yay.
If you don't know Candice, you should. Candice is the founder of the Fred Cogswell Award. Candice James served 2 terms as Poet Laureate of New Westminster and was appointed the Poet Laureate Emerita in 2016. Candice is the author of 18 books of poetry. Her poetry has appeared in many international anthologies, magazines, and her poems have been translated into Arabic, Italian, Bengali, and Farsi. She's a visual artist, musician, singer, songwriter, workshop facilitator. Candice does it all, and she's good at it all. The founder of our class and the Fred Cogswell Award, as I mentioned. She's a recipient of the Bernie Lake Artist Cultural Award and a Pandora's Collective Citizenship Award. And one of my great treasures is this book here. Can you all see it? A Split in the Water. Candice's first book. I have to show the picture. Oh my God, we're twinsies. Yep. And yeah, I think you'll talk a little bit about this, Candice. I hope you do. Welcome, Candice.
Thank you very much, Janet, and thank you, everybody. And actually, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for Fred Cogswell. Amazingly enough, when I first started writing poetry, way back when I was a kid, it was terrible. But then when I got into my teens and young adult, really, I guess after I was about 25, I started writing poetry for myself. And a friend of mine sent some away. And anyhow, one was sent to Fred. And he actually phoned me and said, "Oh, we've got this 25 poems of yours, and I'd like to publish a chapbook." Of course, I didn't know what a chapbook was. I said, "Oh, that'd be nice." He said, "Do you have any more?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, I've got about 300," which was a lie. I only had about 160 or 70, but he said, "Oh, great, I'll be out in 3 weeks, and I'd like to see them." Oh, God, now I've got to write. I don't think I'll get any sleep. But by the time he got out here, I had 303. I had just over, so it didn't just looked like I wrote a few more since I talked to him. Anyhow, out he came, and he looked over my poetry stuff, and I was thrilled. I thought, boy, somebody likes what I write. It was just because I hadn't been out doing anything. I was just sitting at home writing, and this was really thrilling for me. So, long story short, he published my book, and if he hadn't done that, I would not be sitting here. I wouldn't have continued on with poetry. I would have probably just kept writing for myself and done nothing. So I have to thank Fred for really setting me on the life path that has meant so much to me, and that is why I wanted to make sure he was remembered, hence starting the award. And I have to thank Kathleen for giving me permission to do that. And I put it under our class, so it'll still be here long after I'm gone. So Fred will be eternal, and that was all because he helped me so much when I thought I was just another little person sitting at home doing my thing. I could ramble forever, but I don't want to bore everybody. So some of the things I wanted to say, just a couple, is when he came out, in order for me to have my 300 plus poems and not look like a terrible liar, I had to write a lot of short ones, just little short ones to get through. So I thought I would read 2 of the little short ones and then one of his that I did a semi-glossa to. So the first one that was short is called Waves Washing. It's in the first book, Split in the Water. Waves wash on the crux of human emotion. Waves rolling, waves ebbing, waves breaking. The tides of human love are ever changing. A raging sea can start love and end it. Waves wash some hearts and drown others. So that was one of the very short poems, and this is an even shorter one. It's called If You Had Been a Welder, and amazingly enough, my current spouse is a welder. Who knew back then? Maybe I did on a subconscious level. If you had been a welder, the distance was too far for your rivet to hold me. Had you been a welder, we might not have come apart at the seams. Very short, very sweet, and those 2 ended up in the book, but I guess he had to pick through probably quite a few short ones because I had to write quite a few short ones and have enough done. So now, the poem I've chose to read of Fred's, actually I've two poems. I'm going to read one poem, which I really like, and then the next one I'm going to read them both. And then the second one I did a kind of glossa to. It's a glossa to me, but it doesn't strictly adhere to the form, so I'm going to call it a glossa with my initial, a glossa. Anyhow, this is from Fred. The water and the rock. Hard rock was I, and she was water flowing over sharp stones of opposition going, shaping herself to me as a cup. She filled the valleys of my ego up with a cool, smooth compliance everywhere, as yielding and unhurtable as air. Soft was my love as water, and I forgot in the calm wash of compliant rhythm caught how water shapes and softens, sculpts and smooths the channel of the rock through which it moves. How true is that? Boy, Fred, you got that right. Anyhow, this one I really like too. It's called Within My Templed Flesh. Within my templed flesh, a god of pain presides over love's slow murders and hate's long suicides. I curse him as I feel his unrelenting sway. But could a force less cruel wring living out of clay? Probably not. Thanks for writing those two, Fred. So I chose Within My Templed Flesh to do a tribute glossa to Fred. I actually thought I was doing a glossa, but I didn't realize that the 9th and the 12th had to rhyme, so they don't, but everything else does. And I called it To Put Asunder Killing Tides. So the 4 lines I took from Within My Templed Flesh is, within my templed flesh, a god of pain presides over love's slow murders and hate's long suicide. So here comes the glossa. I have seen the sun die many deaths. I have lived through many shallow breaths, and the sun has always risen again, and the breath lost gives no blame. On a crested wave of bitter bliss, I swam within your torrid kiss. Our sailboat floats with broken mast, and much the same of days gone past. Old scars become new wounds afresh within my templed flesh. There are so many stories left untold, so many hidden deep inside the fold. The days of gold have turned to rust, love letters written turned to dust. When I hear music calling me, I break these chains to be set free. I am not here, I'm really there, in sorrow's clutch. I'm traveling where a remnant broken heart resides. A god of pain presides. Above the clouds I long to fly, to rise above the highest high, to nestle in an angel's soul and feel the rock of heaven's roll. There are so many ways to live and so much gratitude to give. I want to cross off all the pain and reinstate the Savior's reign, to bring more law to the orders over love's slow murders. The world hangs heavy down with tears, the fallout of imploding fears. Both you and I are left to test the bitter metal of the rest. A golden rod will hold the weight of sinners cleansed to find their fate. And you and I will walk the path of charity's chaste aftermath, to put asunder killing tides and hate's long suicides. So that's close to a glossa, but it's actually a glossa. And I must say, without Fred, truthfully, I can say honestly, I would not be here today. I would not be a poet. I would not have continued down that path. So his path crossed my path at just a perfect time for everything to happen. And I thank the powers that be, and specifically Fred Cogswell and Kathleen, for allowing me to start that award in his name. I feel good. Back to you guys.